Greetings, everyone. Thank you for finding us in the multidimensional time stream once again. Today, we're going to be taking just a few moments to answer some of the most commonly occurring questions that get sent in to me about the nature of work that I do, the sessions that we engage in, the workshops and classes that we teach. And so, for those of you guys that have found this channel, you're going to probably be aware on some level that my primary occupation, what I do in this world, my literal mission, is as a professional intuitive, professional psychic healer, energetic practitioner, and probably a number of other very strange spiritual woo woo names that you can tack onto it. Whatever you want to call me, my primary purpose within this human realm is on helping people understand and release non physical negative energies from the self, while at the same time also embracing, activating, and developing our true real intuitive psychic abilities that every living human being is born with. And so, before we go on too long, we're just going to jump right into the questions. This is definitely the most common question that I have received over the years. And that is, what is energy clearing? What is this actual process? What is it like? What do we do? What is an energy clearing session? And so I'm going to start out by defining that, because I think, based upon who you turn to, who you follow, whose YouTube channel you watch, whose books you've read, we could all have a very, very different understanding of the phenomenon or the process of energy clearing. And so I have a little bit of a definition that I work with, and that is, energy clearing is the process of releasing built up negative energy from the body. This can be anything from things like trapped childhood trauma to much stranger things like entity attachment, astral parasites, implantation, psychic attack, all sorts of strange things, and also very, very earth based things like anxiety, depression, negative thought forms, self doubt, suicidal ideation, dissociative disorders, schizoaffective disorders. All sorts of strange things from the body cannot necessarily be relieved, but greatly, greatly aided by going through an energy clearing process. And so, what we do in an energy clearing session is a very individual journey for each person. But what are we actually doing? That's question number two. What do we do in an energy clearing session? We are working with your non physical energetic anatomy. What I mean by that is your chakras, your meridians, the layers of energy around your organs, the experiential and emotional data within the muscles, within the fascia, the information and experience that is lodged within every area of the physical and non-physical body. When we engage in an energy clearing session, what we're doing is going through protocols to help release those things from the body, and often very, very different manners than what we are taught and what we receive in Western medicine. And so, what do we do in an energy clearing session? To be very, very specific, but when you book a session with me, what we engage in is a 3-part protocol. Part one is where we just kind of fling the doors wide open. People will show up and I'll say, well, what's happening? What's going wrong? Tell me everything about your current journey. What's been the worst of it? What's been the best of it? I like to gather a lot of information. I think it's a very wise and rightful thing to do. We call it a process of inquiry, where we gauge, what's happening, what's really going on. We listen to your voice, we look at the energy, we simply analyze what we are being shown and the nature of our experiences. And then we go to part two. Part two is what I call the path of divination. And in the sessions I do, we use multidimensional tarot. And I think it's an incredible medium for getting an additional viewpoint, or what we might call an additional layer of information about what's actually going on with the self. And so what I do is, we do what I call the timeline reading. We pull some cards, we look at where we've been, where we're going, some of the relationships of energy around us. Usually within the reading we get really good data about, what elements of the body are in need of clearing. What part of the self are we treating? How did we get to where we are now? Where might we be going in the future? It's not really a future reading. What it's doing is giving us a perspective of where we are on what I call the multi-dimensional game board. Where are we currently right now in this human journey? And what is it that we need to do to get from point A to point B? And so that's part two of our energy clearing session. Part three is what I call the actual energy clearing portion. And that is essentially a meditation that we go through together. Within that process, we go very, very deeply within the self on a very, very hypnotic level. We enter into some of the most deepest aspects of the self. And that's where people tend to have experiences. We will have remembrances. We will have visions. You will notice the layers of energy that have built up within the non-physical self, and we go through processes of releasing it. How do we release it, though? It's a very good question, and one that I think needs a very specific answer. In the energy clearings that I engage in, we use a frequency known as scalar toning. It is an audible sound created by the human body, in some cases in the form of a tone, a sound that we make, or in other cases in the form of actual commands that we speak into the self, into the layers of energetic anatomy. I call them capsule phrases. And in every session, we go through a series of implanting or transmitting, sending those energies into the non-physical body, and they create a very, very specific effect. They cause a dilation of the non-physical anatomy, an opening of pathways, a breathing, we might even say, within the meridians. And what happens is energy starts to flow. But what kind of energy? It's a very, very specific question. What kind of effects, what kind of feelings might take place as a result of this session? Well, it can vary very greatly depending on the individual. But what I've noticed over the years is that people will come in great states of upheaval. They will come in great states of anxiety, of distress. Some people are dealing with sleep paralysis. Some people are dealing with astral parasites. Some people are dealing with very, very troubling visions or sensations or conditions that they've been dealing with for many, many years. And I have to be real, it's not that in every single session we are able to completely relieve the self of those maladies for good. But what we are able to do is create an improvement, open up the layers of non-physical anatomy, help drain out the bad feelings, help drain out the negativity, help drain out the toxic thought forms that in many cases have been inserted into our field. And what we find is that after those sessions, people invariably feel more grounded. They feel more together within the self. They feel a weight or layers of energy have been relieved from the body. We've had people come in and we've done energy clearings of the liver, and we've noticed that after the session, people see more clearly. In some cases, long running physical illnesses or autoimmune syndromes start to clear up in the self simply by relieving trapped energy from the body. And so, once again, to try to sum it up is a very haphazard thing, because for each individual, it is a very, very unique process. For some people, they'll come in and simply leave going, I feel a lot better, a lot more grounded. Thanks. That was awesome. Other people will come in and they will feel an absolute turning point occur in their life and a release of years and years of trapped negativity from the body. And so results may vary. One thing we know we can do beyond a shadow of a doubt is create an improvement in whatever it is you're going through. Question number 3. How would you even know if you need an energy clearing? What I like to say is that, and this is almost invariable, the energy clearing actually begins at the time of booking. In fact, I've heard this time and time again over the years. As soon as people actually click that little button, book the session, they will notice a wave of relief or some sort of a process of calming or release will begin. And oftentimes at the beginning, it's a very, very little one. But what it is your soul, your system, your energy, your guidance, creating an out, creating an avenue, creating a new direction for you to release something. So you're going to know, number one, based upon what you've been going through. Now, let's make it a little bit more specific. There are, a little bit of a set of criteria that I often look at when people come in to decide, where we're going, what are we doing. And so, you might have recently left a big relationship. You might be in a turning point in your life. You might be in a career shift. You might be recovering from a great illness. You might have just been diagnosed with a great illness and are trying to understand the spiritual components. What do I need to do to heal on a soul level? Maybe you've been plagued by years of anxiety, years of depression. Maybe you've been plagued by dissociative disorders. Maybe you've had schizoaffective disorders over your entire life. Maybe you're in a state or a stage of your human journey in which you don't know which way to turn. You don't know which way is up, which way is down. All of the old methods of self-soothing and healing and correction are no longer working. And maybe you're starting to have thoughts inserted within your mind. Maybe you're even hearing some voices. Maybe you're seeing strange things out of the corners of your eyes. You're experiencing sleep paralysis. There are many, many, many different reasons why people would seek professional help with balancing or releasing their energy. And the reality is, like I've said many times, it's going to be different for each individual. What I like to say is, by the time people will find me, by the time people will find this channel, by the time people will come to the stage in which they're actually looking at our website going, should I do this? Is this right for me? That is no mistake. Spirit will lead you to the people that can assist you. In some cases, people have gone through addictions for, decades of their human journey, and they'll come in and we'll go through a number of protocols of releasing trapped energy within the body. And this is real. Within a few short weeks, within a month, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, we find people finally mustering the strength and the courage to make those really big changes. And so, anyway, before we go on too long, the reasons are your own, but allow your spirit to guide you, to let you know when it is time to come in. If you would like more information about how to book a session, about how to take part in the classes that we do, if you've come to the point in your human journey when you realize it is time to seek professional help for the waves of negativity, for the difficulty, for my own healing process, if you've come to the stage in which you're noticing that, the darkness in your life is not getting better, maybe it's getting worse, maybe it's getting harder, maybe, it's like trying to reach that place on your back where you just can't scratch. For those of you guys that are seeking a different layer of assistance, you can find us at rememberyourmission.com. This is the only work that we do, and we do it on an everyday basis. And so please do reach out to me at rememberyourmission.com. For those of you guys that are looking to begin your own multi-dimensional training path, maybe you're already a healer, maybe you've already taken part in certain forms of energy healing, or maybe you've already taken a Reiki class, or who knows, maybe you're even a tarot reader already. We do have a number of courses online ready right now for people to begin your own multidimensional intuitive training journey, and that's over on Vimeo. You can check it out right there at the link on the page and also at the description of this video. In the meantime, thank you for everyone that has been following our channel. Thank you for your support, for being a part of this strange multidimensional family, and especially for visiting us down here at the Multidimensional Trailer Park. If you have other questions about energy clearing, if you have questions about the types of sessions that we do, if you have questions about the work that we do, or just questions about multidimensionality in general, please add them in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoy this video, and I will be making more of these. In the meantime, thank you for finding us in the multidimensional time stream. And live from the Multidimensional Trailer Park. We'll see you in the future, everybody.